Buying a house in Jamaica is now really a good time? Did you know you could be worse off if you choose to buy a house instead of continuing renting? Did you know you're still subject to mortgage increases even after you've bought your house? There is such a thing as being house poor, and in this video, we will explore whether or not now is really a good time to buy a house in Jamaica. The first thing we need to look at is why you want to buy a house. I can guarantee you that the number one reason why you feel like you should own a house now is simply because of societal pressures. You feel like you absolutely have to buy one now, or you'll miss out. After all, houses aren't getting cheaper, and what could be better than buying a house and watching it rise in value, or buying a house and renting it to make some extra money every month? This sense of urgency is a marketing ploy particularly brought on by the real estate market. Realtors make money from selling properties, so if they can get more people to buy a property as soon as possible, then it works in their favor. There's also the stigma around renting instead of owning your own home. That is because over the years, people have glamorized owning their own home and have made it as a marker as a big life achievement. They make it seem like renting is a bad thing, and if you don't own a home, you must be doing something wrong in your life, or you've made poor life choices. But the truth is, buying was much easier back in the day for our parents than it is for us now. 10 or 15 years ago, a house that was valued at $9 million is now $18 million. But can the average middle-class person in Jamaica really afford a property? Let's look at a scenario where Joe earns a net income of $250,000 a month. Joe wants to buy a property that costs $20 million. Joe's total expenses are $188,000 monthly. He has no kids, lives alone, and is currently renting. His rent is roughly $70,000, and he lives in New Kingston. A $16.7 million mortgage from Scotiabank and NHD would cost roughly $90,000 a month. For a property of $20 million, Joe can expect to pay roughly $160,000 on the high end. On the low end, a mortgage like that would leave him with a disposable income of only $39,000 a month. That's not a lot to cover savings for emergencies, investing, and any increases that may come in the mortgage later on. By the way, mortgages do increase after you get them. That's right. As a matter of fact, your mortgage can go up twice in a year. It all depends on how often interest rates rise. And this increase can be huge to the borrower. Think a $30,000 increase or more over 2 years. When you couple mortgage increases with inflation and low pay raises, you have to ask yourself, is it worth buying a property, or would it be more beneficial to me if I kept renting and invested my disposable income? Let's first look at what you're giving up if you choose to buy a house. The first thing is to ensure you have your security deposit. For a house valued at $20 million with a 5% down payment, you're looking at $1 million cash. Then there are fees, particularly the closing costs and lawyer fees, which could run you up to $1.5 million. That's already $2.5 million right there. But let us throw in an extra $200,000 since there have been horror stories about hidden costs that people didn't know about. So now we're up to $2.7 million. What would happen if you chose to invest that $2.7 million over 5 years, assuming a 10% annual return? At the end of year 5, you would have $4,348.77. This is the opportunity cost of buying a property. Buying a property has never been this difficult. Don't you wish you could go back in time and grab that corner lot that was being sold for 2 plantains and 3 slices of bread? It seems as if the previous generation either were really lucky or really greedy, because they are the ones who snatched up everything, then drove the prices up to astronomical heights. The billionaire real estate investor Grant Cardone says America will one day become a renter's society. I can't help but wonder if that may become true for Jamaica one day. I mean, come on. Who can really afford a $20 million one-bedroom apartment with a $10,000 a month maintenance fee, rising mortgage rates, and to budget for when something goes bad in the apartment that will eventually need fixing? For this generation, it really seems like the cards are stacked against us, and I can't help but wonder how bad things will be for the generation after us. For the properties you are able to afford, they come with no land space, so your kids or your dog can't even find room to run around properly. The powers that be, who should be helping us like the NHD, are offering pennies to people when houses cost $1. The NHD maximum lending amount is $7.5 million, and you will have to get the remaining amount from a bank. The bank may not even give you the amount you need because of other expenses you might have. The government isn't even trying to properly address the issue by giving people a fighting chance, because having a stable roof over your head isn't a priority for them. It's now down to choosing to either buy a home or a car, but you can't have both. Later, we might reach the stage where we're left to choose between buying a home and paying for a can of corned beef. Who knows? We might just already be there.